Greetings, everyone. It is I, the Nomad, coming to you live from the wastelands of the internet. And we're going to talk about another obvious thing. And this one is from the New York Times. You know, the paper of record. The old gray lady. You know, the leftist loon factory. In a huge blow to Democrats, Virginia court strikes down House map. The decision is a major victory for Republicans, wiping away a measure approved by voters to allow Democrats to gain as many as 4 House seats in the midterm by 3 leftist loons: Campbell Robertson, Nick Corasanti, and Reed J. Stein. Virginia's top court Friday struck down a congressional map drawn by Democrats and recently approved by voters, dealing a major blow to the party as it struggles to keep pace with Republicans in the nation's redistricting battle. Now, why would that be? Hey, 3 jackasses. Why would the Democrats trying to keep pace with the Republicans in a redistricting battle, why would that be taking place? Could it possibly be because the leftists and these leftist loons that you all support have gerrymandered these districts forever in all these other states? That's why everyone's laughing at you. That's why Republicans, when everyone was talking about this, going, oh, well, look at what Virginia's going to do. We're going to make it even. We knew that you were going to make it even. You're not any different than what you've always been doing. Leftists have been gerrymandering these districts forever. All you got to do is take a look at Massachusetts, or Maryland, or Illinois, or even California, and you will see how that they have done this, all right, in the gerrymandering that they've done, and nobody gave a shit. All of a sudden, Republicans say, you know what, screw this, we're going to do the same thing you are. Oh, this is bad. Now let's talk about what happened here. Why did they strike this down? Okay, after the Virginia map passed in a statewide referendum late last month, Democrats thought that they had battled Republicans to a draw, or that they had eked out even a small advantage. No, they didn't. They believed they had a huge advantage. It was a huge advantage for them. Then a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court prompted several southern states to work to pass new maps, which will favor Republicans. Yeah, because they're getting rid of the gerrymandered districts Democrats did in those states. Oh, you're taking away the black districts. Because there shouldn't be black districts. There should just be districts. You guys had gerrymandered black districts forever to say, oh, and went to court over it. People forget this. They had gone to court repeatedly to create black districts in the state, claiming that there was underrepresentation. In its 4-3 decision, which tells you already that what they're really upset about is they couldn't pack the court enough with leftist loons, the Virginia Supreme Court wrote that the Democrat legislators had violated the state constitution with their move to enact a new map to give their party 10 out of 11 House seats and up to 6 it currently controls. Virginia voters approved the constitutional amendment to allow for the random map in a referendum. However, that referendum process that goes by the Constitution wasn't followed. Oh, it's almost like, okay, we got a constitution, we got a rule of law, and Democrats said, doesn't matter. Democrats are known to do this. This constitutional violation incurably taints the resulting referendum and nullifies its legal efficacy, the majority wrote. But Democrats don't care about the rule of law. And that's always been the problem. This is nothing new. Anybody remember Frank Lautenberg? Most of you probably don't. When the torch was going down, what did the Democrats do? They stood up there and ignored the law, and the Supreme Court of the United States said, well, we're not going to hear this. Because at the time, the leftists controlled the courts, and the courts were trying to put above this thing. Giving a great signal to everybody else, well, we'll just ignore the law. To the leftists, we'll ignore the law at every opportunity. And they have. And that's what they were doing in Virginia. Everybody knew it. And the appeals court that first heard this case decided to let that referendum go through because their ruling was, well, we can decide on it later. Every one of the judges that said, okay, we'll just let it go through, they should be fired. They should be out of a job because they weren't deciding on the rule of law. They were deciding on, politically, well, how does this look for us? How does this look for us? That's not a judge. That's a coward. People, you better start learning across the board. Sure, this was a win for the quote-unquote GOP. But it was a win for the rule of law is what they should be shouting. This is finally the rule of law has told Democrats, you got to follow the law. It's a long time coming. The biggest problem we have in this country right now is activist judges who are not ruling on the merits of the law. They are ruling on how it affects their party. And they will rule one way today and an absolute another way when it benefits them the next day, when it doesn't benefit them. That's what they've been doing constantly, which is why everyone goes, what the hell is this? The Democrats couldn't pack the Virginia court with enough frickin' activists. That's what this ruling is, a 4-3 ruling. When the Constitution and the rule of law is clear, anybody who reads this knows that they were violating the rules. Everybody that reads that law knows it was obviously that they were violating it, and they let it go through anyway. They let the referendum happen. Now what it looks like is, this was the people that voted, and you guys ignored the will of the people. Of course, we don't really know, who was actually voting because they won't let anybody actually look at the voter rolls. Not saying that the GOP in the state of Virginia have covered themselves in glory in anything either. Because in many ways, they're acting like the quote-unquote conservatives over in Britain. All right, everybody. Hope you all have a good day, and I will talk to you later.